The Canes were looking to end the series, right? From, I would say, puck drop in game 1. By the way, I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox here at the arena with me, and Graham Hill keeping us up and running back at the studio. From the game opener, right? From the series opener, it was pretty obvious that the Canes were the better team.
Yes.
Right. And we came in the day after the opener and we said 5 games max. All right, we'll give you your free pass on a game where you drop one. They did on Friday. That's your free pass, right? It's your free bingo square right in the center of the board. No harm, no foul. Ended in 5, we'll be good to go. That is still the case. Not changing it.
Drive a stake through the heart tonight.
Killer instinct, all of that. We'll talk about it. But then there's also this side quest, this other thing going on in today's game, which is Freddie Andersen not expected to be available. He was not at morning skate. Rod brind'amour said he won't be available. So, barring some real last-second switcheroos, of which would be unprecedented, it'll be Pyotr Kochetkov in net for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's nothing small. That is a change that now you could say they would eventually go to Pyotr for a game, but there's a difference between going to Pyotr Kochetkov for a game and needing to go to Pyotr Kochetkov due to an injury. Especially with the way he ended the season. That's what Game 5 becomes about. There's 2 storylines. 1, bloodthirst, right? You want to drain the life from your opponent's eyes and send them on vacation. 2, Pyotr Kochetkov, right? Where's your confidence at? Where's your level of play? After giving up a softie in injury relief in Game 4, he settled in and played very well, but it is a completely different beast of a challenge to be thrown into a game with no time to think. Freddie goes down, you're on the ice, you're seeing shots within a couple of minutes, versus today, which is you've been preparing since Sunday as if you're going to be the starter. You've been out there for a morning skate in the starter's crease. You have Spencer Martin called up to back you up, and it's your net for the night. Very different mental challenge for Pyotr Kochetkov. For some updates, we'll play some audio for you. Rod brind'amour talked to the media today. Here's his update on Freddie Andersen.
Here's what I'll tell you. Is he's day-to-day, and he's out tonight for sure. And that's all I got for you. So let's go to the next question.
All right. I love it.
All right, there it is. Straight to the point. Out today, day-to-day. Keep it moving.
And day to day has meant different things to Rod over the years, so I wouldn't look too far into it.
Yeah, day to day. We've also heard, it might be out for a while. Then a week later, hey, there's so and so who's injured.
There's no set. It's not. There's no units of measurement, right? Day to day isn't between 3 and 5 days. There's none of that stuff going on. It's all exactly kind of as vague as it sounds.
And we don't know what it is. It's undisclosed, so we don't know if he's in concussion protocol, if it was his leg that got bent up. We don't know if it was like a collar. We don't know.
We don't know if it's the shoulder. We don't know any of it.
We do not know what it is. The only thing that Carolina needs to worry about tonight, hey, you know who's in net. You know what the lineup is going to be. You've won with that guy in net. The guy is great at home this season. Kochetkov, 19-4-1 at home this season with a goals against 2.3. And a save percentage of .909. The guy can win in this building. Go take care of business tonight.
Rod brind'amour earlier today said they have a lot of faith in Kochetkov when he's in net.
We probably would have definitely considered putting him in this game anyway. So, and like you said, he's played half the games this year, I think, or maybe more. So this isn't like we're putting in a guy we don't trust or hasn't played a ton of games for us. So. We have a lot of faith in him.
And you should. This is kind of the crazy part of it, right? Because Freddie was playing so well. And whether they were actually considering going to Pyotr Kochetkov or not, I would say it now. This was a good chance this was going to be his game anyway, right? You want to build confidence in a guy who obviously had his confidence shaken down the back half of the regular season. But the crazy part is, right, as well as Freddie was playing and as solid as he's been, when Kochetkov is at his best, there's an argument for wanting Kochetkov in there over Freddie.
Oh,
right?
yes.
He brings a more dynamic ability. He brings a little bit more highlight reel potential. But that's when he's at his best. It's really been how consistent can he be, not what is his ceiling, what is his peak. Because Pyotr Kochetkov's peak is awesome, and it's really, really fun. There'll be a couple plays where you go, what was that? He's the king of losing his stick or being too aggressive with a clear and then having to slide back in net and stop a one-on-one. He's he's got some of that in him, but when he's playing well, it's dynamic. So, him being in, there's no reason to not be confident, but I do think, we haven't seen the good version of Pyotr Kochetkov very often, very recently, and that's where the concern comes in. How do you get the best version of PK, and then how do you keep it once you find it?
For him, for Pyotr, I hope getting in that last game and just you got it out of your system. You let in the soft goal, and then you're solid the rest of the way. Well, you get thrown into a terrible situation, but now the net is yours, and it's something that you want. Like, go take advantage of the opportunity. Like, there's the other side of that as well. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe I make sure Rob brind'amour has to have a tough decision to take me back out when Freddie's healthy.
I think this is a massive opportunity for Pyotr Kochetkov.
Oh, 100%.
It's a statement opportunity game for him. Now, I said something like that on Twitter, and a couple of the responses were, if he doesn't show up now, then... And it got real negative. And I don't know if it's quite that, right? Because he's still a relatively cheap player, relatively young player. You can still learn and develop. But I do think there is the upward mobility. I think if he plays lights out today, you are much more comfortable using him in the next round. You're much like, it's like any athlete, right? And this is where I get on my soapbox and talk to the youth athletes out there. If you get an opportunity, do well with it. You might get a little bit more of an opportunity. Do well with it. You might get a little bit more of an opportunity. And it's not always you're going to go out there, play one great game, and then suddenly you're the third draft pick in the NHL draft. It is about building, and Pyotr Kochetkov has a chance to put a really strong foundation on his postseason in his first start of this year's postseason in Game 5, a potential series clincher. Just go out there and play to the level that we know he can play.
Earn that trust for the postseason.
Yeah,
because they obviously has no problem playing him in the regular season. He played 47 games this season. Played over half the games.
When Freddie's out, Pyotr wears a heavy burden. They do lean on Spencer Martin a bit, but that's on a as needed basis. That's as Pyotr Kochetkov needs a break, back to backs and things like that. They have no problem, with him in net and especially when Freddie's out and you're expecting him back. They have no problem using Pyotr Kochetkov a ton. So he has the experience. I'm not. We're not looking at a guy wide-eyed and bushy-tailed going into this one. This is an NHL goalie that is expected to go in and play well and help his team win a clincher.
He's only played in 7 playoff games. 2 of them starts. So this will just be his 3rd playoff start tonight. That's it. He started once in 21-22 during that Bruins series, and he also started 1 game last year against the Rangers. That's it. That's in terms of playoff starts. He's still just scratching the surface on what it's like playoff hockey-wise. So it's still a little bit of uncharted territory for him.
Meanwhile, Freddie is one of 5 active goaltenders with 40 postseason wins or more. So it is a very stark contrast in experience going from Freddie Andersen to Pyotr Kochetkov. If there is some good news, I don't even know if you want to call it good news. It feels kind of gross saying that. But Brett Pesce and
Jonas
Siegenthaler, exactly, are game time decisions.
Yeah,
for the Devils. They, I believe, were not skating at morning skate.
Those 2 did not skate at morning skate today. They're game time decisions according to their head coach Sheldon Keefe. They're already going to be without Brendan Dillon. They're already going to be without Kovacevic. They're already going to be without Luke Hughes on defense. Like 3 of their defensemen are already out. And then you add in Siegenthaler and Pesce also might be out. Wear down their defense, please. Wear them down.
The best thing, pitchers, goaltenders, the best thing you can give them in baseball, run support, in hockey, goal support, right?
Yeah.
Give Pyotr Kochetkov a 2-0 lead in the first, and I think you could see something really special from him.
For sure.
And then keep building off of it, because if they're going to be out there, even if Pesce and Siegenthaler can play, you'd assume there's something less than 100%. Test them early, test them often, and try to give your goalie who's being thrown into a situation a little bit of a support there.
Lean heavy on him.
Absolutely. Shots on goal, pucks on net, all the things that people like to shout from up in the stands.